Step into a world where there are no guarantees, more questions than answers. A world where serene beauty can become a perilous nightmare. Do not trust the laws of nature to uphold their calm. Come with us now to a twisted realm where nothing is as what it seems. A series of stories that will leave you dying for more.
Heading west on Business 29, going towards Menominee from Chippewa Falls, Wisconsin, you may miss an old train bridge along the way. There are so many of these bridges still standing, some not even utilized anymore, that you would never give them a second glance. But there is more than meets the eye to this structure. On the chilled winter day of December 20th, 1924, the Minneapolis St. Paul and Sault STE Marie Railway had a passenger train which was making its way over this now said to be ill-fated railway bridge. It was a clear day at 12:34 in the afternoon when tragedy struck. On this single line, heading eastbound, train number 2, which consisted of 3 mail and express cars, 1 baggage car, 2 coaches, 1 sleeping car, and 1 cafe observation car, derailed suddenly. It was said the train was running about an hour late and traveling at 25 miles per hour at the time of the accident. The rear truck of the rear car derailed at the switch, which eventually swerved to the left until it reached the very center of the bridge, when one car broke loose from the other car and it plummeted over the side of the bridge, upside down, into the icy water below. The staff on board were not injured and reported there was nothing they can do to stop the car going over the edge. Later, it was found there was a broken switch bolt which caused the derailment. 8 individuals lost their lives that fated winter day, and 7 more sustained severe injuries. There was a federal investigation conducted, and it was proven the bolt was the root of the problem and did indeed cause this tragedy. Unfortunately for Harry Caldwell, the conductor, this news did not reach him soon enough. According to the book, Haunted Chippewa Falls, by Chris Weiner and Clarence Rice, it was said Harry Caldwell was, quote, a great man with a perfect record, end quote. Unfortunately, good or bad record did not appease him. His guilt over the train accident, when these passengers were in his hands, got the better of him. He committed suicide, and some say he hanged himself off the bridge or in the general area. Perhaps his ghost still lurks about. Fishermen down by the water, casting out their lines early in the morning, have reported to have seen people coming out of the water. Then they vanish before their very eyes. According to the book, Haunted Chippewa Falls, the authors state that there is a photo of the train wreck shortly after it happened. If you look past the wreckage and people standing about, there seems to be 8 shadow people who cannot be accounted for. Ironically, that is the same amount of people who were killed on the train. In speculation, it could be the old photography and blurs in the old photo causing this. But some believe these blurred figures are of the ghosts who lost their lives so violently that winter day in 1924. Poor Harry Caldwell. If he wouldn't have been so overcome with guilt and grief, he would have found out that the switch bolt became crystallized by the 15 degrees below zero temperature and snapped under the weight of the train. Could his ghost still be seen walking around the scene of the accident, carrying all the weight of the world on his shoulders? Maybe if he would have been told, he wouldn't have taken his life and now be stuck between the living and the dead. But he may not be the only ghost to have cause to stick around. According to an online find, there were reports at the scene of the accident that stated 2 bodies had been spotted in the water after the coach took the deadly plunge into the water, but this could not be verified and was discounted. Were there 2 bodies of the victims unaccounted for? Are they still wandering this area because they were never properly laid to rest? All was not lost that day. 2 boys, Dayton Gagne and Raymond Walthers, were walking along the railroad when they heard a loud crash as part of the train crashed into the Chippewa River. Both boys ran to the center of the bridge, Gagne pulling his mittens off while taking another set from his pocket, throwing them to 2 women who were down below in the water. They had managed to crawl out of the car that was in the water. According to the Gagne family genealogy website, quote, "Then, with Walthers at his heels, Gagne ran half a mile downstream to a flat-bottomed skiff, rowed back to the scene of the tragedy, and with Walthers and Wesley Cardinal, 10, helped 7 of the victims from the freezing stream and battered car. The boys worked for half an hour before exhaustion forced them to relinquish their activities to townsmen and members of the fire department, which Gagne had ordered a chum to call before he ran for the boat." End quote. 7 people saved, 8 deaths. There is still probably so much energy on and around these tracks, good and bad. Many of the victims were on their way to see family for Christmas. So, the next time you're in Chippewa Falls, Wisconsin, go over and take a peek at this infamous railroad. If you stop and listen, you might hear the sounds of people screaming or yelling for help, or even the sounds of the 2 young boys rescuing others. Look closely, and perhaps you will see the guilt-stricken conductor hanging from one of the trestles. Maybe this area is a bridge where the living and the dead live as one.
Right.